Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with me today. In this video, I want to talk about something very real, something that many of us who are learning English have experienced. The topic today is, I understand English, but I can't speak. Here's why. I know many of you feel the same way. You study English for years, you watch movies, you listen to songs, you even understand most of the meaning when people talk. But when it's time to open your mouth, suddenly everything disappears. Your brain becomes empty. Your tongue feels heavy. You feel shy, nervous, and sometimes even embarrassed. I want to share my own story about this problem, and maybe by telling my experience, you can also see your own story inside mine. When I first started learning English, I was very excited. I thought, if I study hard, I will be able to speak fluently. But the way I studied was not the best. At school, most of the time we only focused on grammar and vocabulary lists. The teacher gave us rules to memorize: past tense, future tense, conditional sentences, so many structures. We practiced writing, we answered grammar questions, and we prepared for exams. But what we almost never did was speaking. Speaking was not a priority. Reading and writing were the most important parts because they were in the test. I became good at reading and understanding English on paper. I could look at a text and know the meaning. I could even write a short essay. But when it came to real conversation, I had no experience. I didn't know how to use English in daily life. This is the first reason why I understand English but can't speak. I learned in a very academic way, but I never trained my mouth to produce the language. Learning to speak is like learning to play football or learning to play the piano. You cannot only read about it. You need to practice again and again with your body, with your voice, with your ears. I didn't do that. I only studied with my eyes and my brain, not with my tongue and my mouth. Another reason is fear. I was afraid of making mistakes. Every time I wanted to say something in English, I thought, what if I say it wrong? What if people laugh at me? What if they don't understand me at all? This fear stopped me from speaking. Even when I knew the words, even when I knew the grammar, I stayed silent. My mind told me, better say nothing than say something wrong. But this was a big mistake, because the truth is, the only way to improve speaking is by speaking. If you wait until you are perfect, you will wait forever. I also realized that my listening was stronger than my speaking. I could watch movies with subtitles and understand a lot. I could follow conversations slowly, but when I had to reply, it was a different story. Understanding and producing are two different skills. It's like when you listen to music. You can enjoy a beautiful song, but that doesn't mean you can sing it yourself. Speaking needs active practice. I didn't practice enough, so even though I understood, I could not reply quickly. Another big problem for me was vocabulary. Yes, I knew many words when I saw them in a book, but when I tried to speak, I couldn't remember them. They stayed locked in my brain. I had what many people call passive vocabulary. I understood it when I read, but I couldn't use it in speaking. To make words active, I needed to practice them in sentences, in real conversations, many times. Without that practice, the words stayed passive. And then there is the problem of environment. I grew up in a place where nobody spoke English in daily life. I didn't have foreign friends. I didn't travel abroad. English was just something in the classroom or on the page. How could I learn to speak if I had no one to speak with? It was like trying to learn swimming without ever touching water. Of course, I could not swim. Of course, I could not speak. All of these reasons together made me feel stuck. I understood English, but I could not speak it. And to be honest, it was very frustrating. Sometimes I felt angry with myself. Sometimes I thought, maybe I'm not talented. Maybe I will never speak fluently. But later I understood the problem was not me. The problem was the method, the practice, and the environment. So why am I telling you all of this today? Because I know many of you are facing the same problem, and I want you to know that you are not alone. There are millions of learners around the world who can understand English but cannot speak it yet. It is normal. It does not mean you are stupid. It does not mean you cannot learn. It only means you need a different way. What I have learned is that speaking is a muscle skill. Just like your body gets stronger when you exercise, your mouth and your brain get stronger when you speak. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to practice regularly. Even talking to yourself in English is practice. Even repeating sentences from a movie is practice. Even reading a text out loud is practice. Slowly, the words become easier. Slowly, the sentences flow more naturally. I also learned that making mistakes is not something to fear. Mistakes are teachers. Every time you make a mistake, you learn something new. Think about how children learn their first language. They make so many mistakes, but they don't care. They keep speaking, and day by day, they become fluent. We adults should learn like children, with courage, with play, with no fear. Another important thing is to create opportunities. If you don't have foreign friends, try to find online language partners. If you cannot travel, join speaking clubs, even virtual ones. The world today is connected. We have technology. We can meet people on the internet. We can talk through apps. We can practice even from our bedrooms. There is no excuse anymore. The final message I want to leave with you today is this. If you understand English but cannot speak yet, don't give up. You already have one part of the skill, understanding. That means your brain knows English. You just need to unlock it and let it flow out of your mouth. It will take time, it will take courage, but it is possible. I am still on this journey myself, but now I speak more than before. Every small step is progress. Every word spoken is a victory. So my friends, thank you for listening to my story today. The purpose of this video was not only to share my personal experience, but also to give you hope. If you are in the same situation, remember, you are not alone, and you can change it. From today, try to speak a little bit more. Don't be silent. Don't wait for perfection. Just speak. Because one day, without even realizing it, you will discover that you are speaking English naturally. And in that moment, you will smile and say, "Yes, I can do it."